just quote these to you. The United Nations stats estimate that almost 63,000 Eritreans applied for asylum last year alone, and that 1,800 cross over every month into Sudan. Why are they leaving the country?
These are lies. These are your lies.
So people are not leaving the country?
That's
another United Nations estimate.
Give us the evidences. We would like to see evidence.
Leave our country by opposing the regime we have, the dictatorship regime.
For 25 years, Ali Adde has been a holding point for those escaping troubles at home.
5,000 people estimated by the UN to flee Eritrea every month, 5,000. And you're absolutely right, they're the second most common nationality after Syrians. It's about 22% of all of those asylum seekers arriving here on European shores are from Eritrea. Why?
Eritrea is often labeled the North Korea of Africa, as its near absolute media blackout, its domestic policies, and its tensions over a contested border eerily mirror North Korea. But modern Eritrea is without a doubt a unique product of its complex history, its key location, and its diverse demographic. To understand the circumstances surrounding the current Eritrean Exodus, we must first look back. Located in the Horn of Africa, with Sudan to the west and Djibouti to the southeast, Eritrea effectively landlocks its southern neighbor, Ethiopia, making its 850 miles of coastline along the Red Sea a strategic position in the international community. Its location across from Saudi Arabia and Yemen, where the Red Sea meets the Indian Ocean, has fueled its long history of occupation by foreign states. Occupations that set the stage for the current political environment in Eritrea. Eritrea's political borders were born from Italian colonial occupation that began in the late 1800s and lasted until the British annexed Eritrea in 1941. After 10 years of British rule, the United Nations established Eritrea as an autonomous region in an Ethiopian federation. For the next decade, Eritrean pockets of political resistance began simmering when in 1962, Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie officially dissolved Eritrean autonomy and claimed Ethiopian sovereignty over Eritrea, ushering in a 32-year war of independence between the two states, leading to what can be called the first wave of Eritrean Exodus. The first wave is characterized by those who fled Eritrea pre-independence due to the bloody war, sometimes in combination with famine. An estimated 1 million Eritreans left during this wave. Up to 600,000 alone settled in Sudan, with most others going to Egypt, Djibouti, Zaire, Yemen, Italy, Sweden, Germany, the US, Canada, and Australia. The diaspora from this wave is generally highly supportive of Eritrea and pays a 2% diaspora income tax, which amounts to roughly 30% of Eritrea's GDP per capita. Those in the first wave often do not understand or are unsupportive of Eritreans who have fled during the second wave of Eritrean Exodus. Eritreans fought long and hard against the strongest military nation in Africa to gain their independence. Their hopes and strong national identity were embodied by freedom fighter Isaias Afwerki, who became the first and now only president of Eritrea. Their hopes for a free and prosperous Eritrea, however, were short-lived, and hundreds of thousands of Eritreans have left their young country in search of a better tomorrow as part of the post-independence second wave.
ካቢሞም ስራሕ ቤርታ የለን እንዲያም ተዝነበረ ህንጻታት ይስተርስ አፍታ አዲስ መንስያት የለው ሁሉም ወጽም የም ሁሉም ተሰይዶም የምጣፊም የም ስለዚህ ሓደ ሰብ መይቱን ናብ ቤተክርስቲያን ዝቆብረው ነው ተሰኪም ዘብጽሖ ማለት ነው
The intensity of desperation to leave Eritrea as part of the second wave is largely due to the government's unfettered hegemonic control over every aspect of Eritrean society. In post-independence Eritrea, a culture of impunity has taken root, where the Isaias regime and its supporters have the right to violate human rights for the common good. Dissidents are arbitrarily detained, tortured, and disappeared, as these others are branded as anti-Eritrea. Since 1993, President Isaias has consolidated power by monopolizing and controlling business and the economic market, trampling on any and all economic and employment opportunities for Eritreans. But perhaps the greatest factor in the decision to flee is the conscription of all able-bodied men and women in Eritrea. An 18-month mandatory national service began in 1994 in Eritrea, but the current level of conscription came on the heels of the 1998 to 2000 border war with Ethiopia, in combination with the post-war economic recovery program called the Wefri Warsai Yika'alo campaign. These two policies turned an 18-month service into conscription from 18 years of age until 51. For a country where the life expectancy is 53 years old, this equates to a lifetime of forced national service that has become forced labor in government-run businesses. During the forced service, religious practices in print are forbidden, and conscripted Eritreans earn roughly $10 a month. The government employs gifa, which are raids and arrests to round up Eritreans for conscription.
So to see that nobody is fleeing from the military camp, so there is a soldier, military police almost every corner where you would be asked for ID, and it used to remind me of the films, from the Holocaust, where the Gestapos would be on every corner asking for ID to see if you are Jewish or not.
In the past decade, Eritreans have increasingly fled their destitute homeland despite a shoot-to-kill border policy, human trafficking in the Sinai Peninsula, organ harvesting, kidnappings by ISIS, torture and ransom, and the deadliest migration route across the Mediterranean. They cross the Atlantic to South America and make their way north on foot to the United States. They have faced discrimination based on race, ethnicity, and religion, sometimes by the Eritrean diaspora from the first wave. Yet Eritreans continue to flee with hopes of becoming more than just another statistic in the oldest, large-scale refugee situation monitored by the UNHCR. They flee in hopes of finally realizing their ever-elusive freedom.
بمنظر كبرن مثلا كلهم سبات ተወልዱ ነፃን ማዕረን እዮም ምስተውዓልን ሕልናን ዝተዓደሎ ብምዃኖም ብሕውነታዊ መንፈስ ክተሓላለዩ ኣለዎም